thank you for that beautiful reminder that when Moses asked the question at the burning bush, who am I going to say has sent me? All kinds of names you hear: Yahweh, you hear El Shaddai, Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Shalom. But he said when you get there, Pharaoh needs to know who's backing this up. Just tell him, I am has sent you. Not much of a name in that, is it? You get pulled over, what's your name? I am. Not going to fly very well. Didn't have a name attached to it. But there was no accident there. It wasn't the I was. I am. And when Jesus came walking on the face of this earth, he never changed the dialogue at all. He just said, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. I am the bread that comes down from heaven. I am the door to the sheepfold. I'm glad we're serving him tonight. Go back to your chair for just a minute. I'm fixing to dismiss you. I have to look at you because I hadn't seen you since Father's Day. We had an incredible crowd Father's Day, great service, wonderful, wonderful time. It wasn't complex enough this week. Just with Sister Macey and I together, we decided to go pick up our 4 Wells grandsons today, and they're here with us. Good to see you guys with us. Banner, Canaan, Lawson, and Navy, all in here in the house with us today. So glad about it. I love them, but I'm telling you, it's like herding cats. We used to just say, go get the car, let's go. But that don't work. Sister Macey gets in there pretty quick. She used to tell me, go get the car. So I go get the car. But these guys, they got more stuff going on. It takes everything. You parents know what, maybe you don't have this issue, but they got to shoot the basketball 2 more times. They got to do something. They got to get something. They got to have something. Banner has to grab something. Everybody's got something going on. And we've had a great time. Today was just crazy. They've been eating all kinds of stuff. Actually, it's been the forbidden feast. The Bible talked about things you're not supposed to eat. I think all of those, they've included that on any of them. Sometimes we knew about it. Sometimes a little cat burglar thing come in, fly in there at night, crawl down the stairs, get in the pantry, and then just find the debris later on after all that's over. This is our final night with them, and we're going to be taking them back. But they're excited because they got city kids. They remember that so well. And they also, now that Canaan's in that time where he's fixing to get into that summer games that everybody's here for tonight, and it's just going to be a wonderful time. But I'm so glad that they're here. Listen, some of you have been texting to give, and you've asked this question. We're going to talk to you about it more on Sunday. But we haven't been scammed or anything. There's no hacking going on. We could no longer text to that number, so they gave us a new number. So when that pops up, that is the correct number, and we're going to try to get that to you more and more in all of the areas so you'll know. They've been announcing it going through this. But when they announced it, and Dylan's telling us, I never sit there saying, I need to put that in my phone. You know, it's like, oh, that's good. We're going to have a new number, and then until I get ready to text to give, and then maybe you'll see that. So when that pops up, don't be concerned. Isn't it crazy though? We got to be concerned about all that all the time. I just keep having people trying to give me money. I just keep having people have packages for me. They are waiting on me right now. They didn't have the complete address, and I need to get that. Also, I have people writing me telling me that I've charged something. They're fixing to shut a credit card down that I don't even have. If you've never had that experience, I just want to say, guys, I'm not falling for you. We got to be on guard at all times. So tonight, ushers are going to come. All of the city kids are fixing to be dismissed, and all of the anthem students. But first, they got to put $20 in the offering. No, we're going to let them go for free. Come on, let's stand one more time. Some of you that are maybe scattered out, if you want to squeeze in a little bit better, get close to somebody where at least you can just see them. That'll be great. And while they're getting ready to go, here's another thing I want you to do. Turn around, shake hands with somebody, step across the aisle, introduce yourself, and let them know that. All right, we're going to dismiss. All city kids are able to be dismissed. All anthem students, let's go. Everybody else, let's come and let's give unto the Lord. Don't forget the Connect class is going to be dismissed. If you're in the Connect class, be ready. Isaac and Brandon, those that are teaching that, doing an amazing job. Don't miss out on that. The rest of you all can be seated. I know you can't wait till you get to sit down. And I want to tell you, just as young as you can possibly imagine, they're giving. Thank God for them. I saw one of the little sisters tell the sister, that way, just kind of pointing. Have you ever been to something and you're asked somebody, how do I get to this spot? And they'll just say, down there. I'm talking about people that work at a place, hospitals, different things. How do I get to radiology? Over there. Try that at St. Luke's. Just take the yellow elevators. Well, there's the purple elevators, there's the blue elevators, and the yellow elevators. When you just say over there, you can't always find it. I was in a store the other day, a grocery store, and I was trying to find something. Sister Macey had me looking for one of those items that I'm not used to getting because it was healthy. And I said, where's the whatever it was? And they just said, down that way somewhere. Somebody worked there. Down there, I think it's 5 aisles over, you know. The aisles were like a quarter of a mile, each one. So that didn't really help me. And I was walking, I was looking up at all the deal, you know how it has all that stuff, spices and bakery, baking goods and all that. I couldn't find any of that. And so somebody saw me wandering aimlessly that worked at the store. They said, sir, what are you looking for? And I told them what it was. They said, here, follow me. I'll show you where it's at. And they walked me over there. And here's what the thought that came to me. I hope we do this at Royalwood. I hope this is our modus operandi at Royalwood. You know the layout. You know where everything is. If somebody comes in, you don't just say, over there. You can say, hey, come on, follow me. I'll take you and show you exactly where it is. This is where you check your kids in. This is where you do those things. And that makes it for a greater experience. Don't you agree with that? Now, if they're asking for the restroom, you don't have to follow them in. You can just say, well, I'll walk you over there, but it's right over there. Amen. I know you got a lot of things you could have done tonight, but you're in the house of the Lord, and we always, when we come together, you know what we really need to do is make it count. I'm talking about make it count. I don't want to waste services. I don't want to just waste it. Oh, we went, we punched the clock, and we checked that box. I want to go home with things in my pocket in case I need something down the line. And I'm pretty sure when I hear anybody teach, I listen to messages, I hear other people speak. Everybody's got something that helps me. I don't know if it's because I have so many things I really need or if I'm just hungry all the time to just glean. When you're that way, the Lord will fill that up and it'll bless you. The scripture said that there were some of those, said that the man that had the talents, there was 10, 5, and 1, I think it was. The guy that had 10 talents, that was multiplied because he put it in the right spot. The guy that had 5, that was increased and went to 10 because he put it in the right place. The one guy that had the one talent, he just took it, he buried it and hid it because he was afraid that he would lose it. He was afraid that it would diminish. And when the goodman of the house came and asked each one of them, what did you do? The 10 doubled it, the 5 doubled that. And then the guy that had one said, I knew you were hard. I knew you would come back and ask me this. So I just held on. And what really happened, get this. He didn't say to the guy that had 20 now, help this guy out. He said, you should have made it productive. And so we're going to take that away from you. And we're going to give it to the guy that had 20. Now that seems totally unfair. Especially in this idea where people are pushing for socialism. This would be totally unfair. It's supposed to distribute everything equally. But the Lord said this. He said, when that happens, it's because you can lose that which you have because it adds on. When you get something, more is added on. When God gives you something, you increase the capacity to receive things from the Lord. And so you grow in. It's no accident that there's some people powerful in God and some people who are weak in God. Those who are powerful read their Bible, they pray, they're hungry to hear, they're sitting on the front, they got their Bible, they're ready for everything. I want to take this down. And what happens, God just keeps adding to it. And then somebody standing there saying, I just can't seem to get anything. Where's your appetite? That's what you got to remember that. Okay, I know you're saying please don't get discouraged because the introduction has been this lengthy because I'm not going to make the message longer. I'm just going to use that time. Go to Luke, the 23rd chapter and the 12th verse. Luke 23 and verse number 12. And I'm going to read probably down to the 24th verse. And when you're ready for me to read, say, I'm ready. Okay? And the same day, Pilate and Herod were made friends together. For before there was enmity between them. And Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers of the people, said unto them, you have brought this man unto me as one that perverteth the people. And behold, I have examined him before you, and I find no fault in this man touching those things where you accuse him. No, nor yet Herod, for I sent him to him. And lo, he found nothing worthy of death is done unto him. I will therefore chastise him, and I will release him. For of necessity he must be released, one unto them at the feast. In other words, there had to be a place at the feast where one of the prisoners was going to be released, and Pilate felt like that would be Jesus. And the Bible said they cried out all at once, saying, away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas, who for a certain sedition made in the city, and for murder was cast into prison. Now, in other words, let the innocent guy go, Jesus, and then let's keep him in the prison, but let the murderer go. That's crazy. Stay with me. Pilate said, therefore willing to release Jesus, spake again unto them. He's giving them an argument. This is not right. He is not guilty. But they cried, saying, crucify him, crucify him. And he said unto them the third time, why? What evil has he done? I find no cause of death in him. I will therefore chastise him, and I'm going to let him go. And they were instant with loud voices, requiring that he must be crucified. And the voices of them and the chief priest prevailed. And Pilate gave sentence that it shall be as they required. This 23rd verse is what I want you to see. They were all screaming and hollering, and the voices of them and of the chief priest prevailed. For just a little bit tonight, I'm going to talk to you about prevailing voices. Prevailing voices. Turn to somebody and say, we're talking about prevailing voices. You can be seated. Now, let me tell you a little bit about that. We're in a world that there's many. The Bible said, in this world, there are many voices. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I think I could say that all of us are this way when it comes to social media, TV, whatever it is, even your friends on the job. Have you ever had so many voices speaking to you or crying out for your attention? Just a few years ago, we didn't have anybody who was a internet influencer. That's kind of a term. There are people that actually make a living influencing people. Products, social media influencers, I think is the way they say it. But products, food, whatever it is, they spend all of their time doing that. I saw the other day that they even have something now where very young girls, it really elementary school age, middle school age girls that are that have their own little their little pages where they're talking to their friends about skincare and making your face up and all of those things. And I think about when I was in elementary and middle school, making up my face was not my priority, or skincare or anything else, but sports and fun and just having a great time. But people are making a living influencing. You can't open your mail up without all of these voices coming at you. You can't turn on the radio, TV, whatever it is, without voices coming at you. We'll be at the airport this week, and everywhere there's just monitors, and they're telling you about this and the state of Israel, and this is going on and that's going on. After a while, it just becomes so overwhelming, you wonder, what voice should I be listening to? Yes, you have the voices in your life of influences, people around you that talk to you, that give you advice or maybe give you input. But I want you to see something about Pilate. I've always had a problem with Pilate because I always felt like he gave up too easily. I mean, you got the fate of Jesus in your hands, and you've gone through all of the court. You've sent him to Herod, and Herod said, I don't find anything wrong with him. You look at all the accusations, you find out that they're all bogus, but the people want him to be crucified. Now, a good leader should have said, I don't care what you say. But, you know, the way you look at it today in politics, there's sometimes leaders don't really lead as they should. They hear all the loudest voices. I was thinking about this. They just recently had a protest here in the city. I don't even remember what they called it, something about the king or something. But they were protesting, and I thought, you know, if you're in favor of something, have you ever noticed this? When you're in favor of something, you never protest about it. Think about this for a minute. If there's something that that's being done or you want to see, it's usually in the negative. It's usually protesting against. It's not very many things that people get out en masse to just say, I love working and raising my family and just living normal life. I think about this with and through the years we've talked about this, all the protests and things that we've had, and people it's just crazy. And I just think, is anybody working? Does anybody have a job? I'm not going to stand out there in the burning hot sun. You got to raise your kids. You got to go through these things. In normal life, you don't even think about these things. But many times people respond to the loudest voices. There's a little adage that we used to say, the wheel that squeaks the loudest gets the grease. If you just keep on and keep on and keep on, finally you just say, I'll just listen to that, because it just wears you down. And that's what Pilate did. They kept on and they kept on and they kept on. Barabbas, the murderer, how in the world are you going to let him go, which he could kill your family the next day that he's released? And here's this man that's done nothing wrong, but the people and the chief priests were determined to get rid of Jesus because he was a problem to them. Now, I know that you should know this, but I think we all would know this. It was designed by the plan of God that Jesus had to die. He had to be the sacrificial lamb. I would never have wanted to be Pilate, who washed his hands in the basin and said, I am released, or I'm washing my hands from the blood of this just man. Because that water wouldn't wash off what he had done. But listen to this carefully. I have to give it to him. He tried. But the problem he had, and I want to talk to you about this for just a few minutes, we got to beware of the prevailing voices. The ones that overwhelm everything else. You see, I thought many times about this. The Bible talks about us as children of God. We are his sheep, or the sheep of his pasture. Sheep don't do what goats do. They're not aggressive by nature. Have you ever gone to the rodeo where the kids ride the little sheep? You ever seen that? Anybody ever seen that? Or is it just me? That's one of my favorite things. I really enjoy it. The thing I don't like is the calf scramble, because it's like this, it's like this gigantic place, and they got to go, run. And it reminds me of soccer. I was telling Lawson about this the other day, because he's incredible. This is his first year, and he's just done fantastic, and he knew nothing about it. And I said, Lawson, you know what gets me about soccer? He said, what, Granddad? I said, they just run around the whole time. And after all that running and people screaming and running, 1-0. That's how it ends. Yeah. I like it when they pour in the points, You got to run the score up. It can't be this way. But I think about this in so many instances where people have it in their mind, I want to do what's right. But as sheep, we follow. We don't aggressively press our way in. We are the sheep of his pasture. If you ever watch Button Busting, I think that's what they call it, they got one lead sheep that they let go, and it goes down there at the end of the pen, just kind of standing there. And when those other sheep toss off those poor little kids, I'm surprised that somebody hasn't gotten a petition because of, treating the children wrong or something, because you can't do anything. But they seem to enjoy it. Even though they're hanging upside down, running until the sheep falls over, they seem to be having a good time. But you know where that sheep's going? To join up with the lead sheep. I mean, they just all get right there. I mean, they're not running in every direction. They know how to lead, they know how to follow, and so that's what they do. But what happens with us so many times is that in our attitude and in our spirit, to be able to be led, we are susceptible to prevailing voices. We don't want to be ugly. We listen when we should not listen. And many times our attitude and our opinions are changed not by the voice from within or voice from above, but by prevailing voices, the voices that prevail in our life. They just keep on. We've got family members. Y'all don't mind me talking about these things, do you? It's just us. We've got family members. They put things on their Facebook page, and I just think, how crazy are these people? We're kin to these people. They're against everything. I don't know what they would be for. It's like no matter what happens, whatever happens in government, whatever goes on, it's like they do this. Everybody's getting a pass but them. Have you ever been around anybody that their whole life is spent with, everybody's getting a discount, but they don't get one? Everybody's getting a deal, but they don't ever get a deal. That's not the way life really is. Let me just tell you and be totally transparent with you. We all are susceptible to prevailing voices. Where while we're just saying, we write something, oh, those kids are so cute. Oh, the Bendazavos just had their little grandson, little Daniel. Daniel Bendazavo and his wife, and they got that little baby, and oh, it's so cute, While we're doing that, they're figuring out things to be against. They're figuring out ways to have battles. They love to engage people in dialogue. I don't engage people like that in dialogue. A dog can whip a skunk, but it's not worth it. Let that just kind of drip in here like this. There's no doubt I could whip them because what they're saying is completely bogus and ridiculous. But you can whip a skunk. A dog can whip a skunk, but it's not worth it. Because when he gets through whipping him, you know what he smells like? Skunk. And if you've ever passed where a skunk has been killed 2 months ago, it'll get in your car. There are people that will contaminate you the very same way once you dialogue. We've got to be careful. Before you hit sin, think about it. Is it even worth it? Is this casting my pearl before swine? Am I going to change this? Or do they can write back and get me on this, going back and forth, and nothing is ever accomplished for the kingdom. But the thing that I want you to understand with this more than just all of the crazy people in your life. Look, if maybe you don't have a family like this. I think every family has goofy people in it. No doubt about it. Somebody has a crazy aunt. They may be dead now, but you just remember when it was like, we're going to the family gathering, but something crazy is going to happen. Yeah. She's going to get her feelings hurt. You didn't eat the potato salad. And she cried and said she wasn't ever coming back. You know, when you're sitting there, is this too much for y'all? Okay. When you're sitting there at Thanksgiving, and well, why did they get up? Well, they're upset because nobody liked the turkey, and they're thinking about leaving. Do you ever just want to say bye? See you. No, we're so nice. Well, what? Well, yeah. Here, put this in Tupperware. I'll take it home with me. That's always a good way to do it. Yeah, if I take it home, they don't know what happens then. But sit down, Aunt. Go ahead and sit down here. Listen to me, a whole family gathering can be ruined by one prevailing voice. One. You've got to have a boundary in your life where I'm going to listen to the one that can tell me this. Listen, how long has it been since we heard his voice? How long has it been since we asked him to talk to us? Instead of the minute something happens, we got to get on the phone. We got to send a text. We got to send an email. Somebody's got to know. We got to get on somebody's page. Hey, I'm going to send you a private message. I got to know this. And we start asking all these questions, and confusion comes in when all it would take is just push over to the side somewhere and kneel down and say, God, direct my steps, and hear the voice of the one that can see around the corner. Amen. Oh, my goodness. Because, look, many times pride and ambition can cut off the voice of inward consciousness or conscience. There were times as a kid, teenager, there were things, I don't know, I want to say it was the Lord because I got the Holy Ghost when I was 6. But there would be times guys would try to get me to go places, do things. Inside, I knew it wasn't right. But their voices prevailed. Oh, come on. That ain't going to happen. Oh, come on. It's not going to be a big deal. When my mom had already told me, go straight there, straight back. If you've never been told that, I'm telling you now. Come straight to church, go straight home. Okay. I wish my grandsons were here because they really need this lesson, don't they, honey? There's no straight anywhere. So we're all going to the car in 5 minutes. Everybody get your stuff together. Go to the car. Everybody get in your spot. Go to the car. Where's Lawson? Wandering off somewhere, doing something else. One more thing to do, walk over. No, you got to go straight there and straight back. But then I'd have friends in my life. Many times I was a prevailing voice. Oh, come on, man. No, we're fine. Yeah, he don't have his license, but he can drive. Oh, wow. Voices that prevail. It happened with Pilate. He had a good conscience. Really, he did. He wasn't a Christian. He didn't know that much about Jesus, but he was able to look at the evidence and say, wait a minute, this is not right. This man, I find no fault in this man. And they keep screaming, release to us Barabbas. Somebody should have looked, I'm sure Pilate did. Y'all want a murderer over the one that opens blind eyes? What is wrong with y'all? But that is how ridiculous prevailing voices can be. Amen. That's how ridiculous it is. You know, when I was a kid growing up, Dad worked, Mom worked. I think our first house payment over on Muscatine Street in Jacinto City, I can't remember if it was $99 and then it went up to $129 a month, and Dad said he didn't know how they were going to make the payment. But something that I kept hearing my dad say over and over again is money doesn't grow on trees. I don't think he said doesn't. I think he said money don't grow on trees. But that's the same message. I hated it. I don't know why. Because I wasn't wanting it to grow on trees. I just needed some of it to get something. But the lesson was you can't postpone or you can't live in the now, or you won't have the later. You can't spend everything out of your life and then get to a spot where you can purchase something because you're constantly eating away at that. Nobody wants to hear that. But we're living in a society today, there's so many voices, and those voices are screaming of things that our kids need. Listen, the pressure on the Anthem students is tremendous. Oh, yes, maybe they don't work with their hands like we did. And you know, I've got all the stories. You know, my dad worked part-time stuff as a roofer. I carried the shingles on my shoulders. I know how that feels to go up there and flop those things up on the we didn't have any special thing at the time. The bundles weigh 80 pounds. My shoulder, I know what it is to take a bucket of hot tar and mop it on a flat roof and lay the tar paper out, go through all of that. I could tell these kids a story, and it's like, tar paper, what flat roof? Where's the roof? Over your head. I could tell all those stories. It means nothing. But the pressures, that was pressures in its own way. But the pressures that they have is so ridiculous because they're bombarded daily. What are you going to wear? What are you going to have? And what kind of person you're going to be? You're not really thin enough. You're not cute enough. You're not popular enough. How many likes did you get? And they live their life under that voice, and those voices prevail many times, and many times the voices are saying you're not good, and there's nothing to you, and you don't really, you haven't been successful, and yet they're precious, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but they're precious of what they could be in life in the days ahead. But we got to somehow turn off those other voices and listen to the voices of reason and the voices of the Master who tells us the way that we need to go. We're living in a world where the voices are saying you got to be successful in business. You got to be successful in sports. Kids today spending incredible money, and parents driving all over the world spending unbelievable money for their kid to play every kind of thing that you could possibly imagine in hopes that one day he'll be a major league pitcher or major league player, or maybe play in the NBA or some other thing. Do you realize how many incredible college guys that were pitchers that never made it? How many incredibly talented people never made it, but they lived their life thinking that one day I'm going to achieve this. And I'm not saying never try to achieve, but the world will tell you that's the only track to success. And when those voices prevail, you lose balance. When those voices prevail, you get off on the wrong track. You go down the wrong road. You got to stop at some point and say, God, I'm right here. I got the car in neutral. I'm not turning right, left. I'm not backing up, and I'm not going forward. I got to hear from you. I need to hear your voice. Pilate was being spoken to. He knew in his heart, this is not right. You don't let people go like this and let this man. If he was turning the people away, it's still not like murdering people. We've got the evidence. Barabbas murdered people, and y'all want him loose on your street, but you don't want Jesus there where he's feeding 5,000, raising the dead, blinded eyes being opened, deaf ears being unstopped, the lame are walking. Oh, no, we don't want something good like that. We want bad stuff. That's what it seems to say. Voices cry saying there's really nothing better on the horizon. This is about as high as we're going to get. What you see in our world today, this is pretty much it. You know what, something? I still believe in our country. I still believe. In spite of all the cacophonous sounds of people screaming and hollering, and you just hear it over and over and over again. I have hope for America that God has brought us into this thing. We're not all that old, you know. We're not old like Europe. We're not old like some of these countries. Of course, they're way off. If you go to some of the countries we've been to the UK, we've been to Italy, we've been to all of these other places, the foreign mission field, all of that stuff where people can have all the stuff. And I've talked to the parishes from time to time, and I had a guy that was on the Global Missions Board that was a pastor in Canada, and I heard people say, man, in Canada, you know, they get cheap medication, and you just go in somewhere and it's just free. And everybody, well, that's the way it needs to be. And one of my pastor friends, I said, man, y'all talk about, I talked to the parishes about that. I said, everything's free. They said, oh, it ain't free. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to be in a plan or anything. I said, what? No, they take it out. 40% taxes and other ways of doing that. What? Oh, yeah. I'll get my own stuff, and I don't have any confidence in governments anyway doing anything with my money, because look how good they do. They kind of mess that up along the way. But we were talking about it, and the guy said, yeah, and the other thing, too, sometimes it's difficult to get in when you need these special procedures and things. Sometimes it may be difficult to get in. Nothing is perfect. But sometimes voices start prevailing, and you become unhappy with the place that you're at. If you listen long enough, you that are couples here today, you're married couples here today, if you listen to society, you don't have a happy marriage. They will show you what a happy marriage is. And your face is not what it could be, but if you bought this stuff and put it on, you'd have a handsome face just like this guy. Yeah. Prevailing voices. Well, I'll buy that. I'm going to order the ab cruncher. Y'all know what an ab cruncher is? They just had this thing. It was a belt of some kind, and you put it around your waist, and it kind of and what you're supposed to, it give you abs. And Brandon tells this story, but Jonathan Haygood and him were in Bible school together. He went by Jonathan's house one time, and James, or it was either James or Jonathan, were laying up on the couch. They were watching something, I don't remember what it was, had the ab cruncher on. He was eating Doritos and dip and stuff. You better get a big belt. But you almost buy into it. You mean if I drink that, I'll look like that? No, your pocketbook will be skinny, but you're not going to be. Just sign up for 3 easy payments. You can cancel it anytime. If it don't work, just keep the bottle. We just want to give it to you. It's the greatest thing in the world. And so you get that, and you give the credit card, and I can stop it at any time. You try that. You'll be 6 months into it, trying to stop it. But they know what they're doing. The voices prevail. You start thinking, yeah, I can be that. I can do that. As a kid, I want to hurry up with this. There was a guy that was this big, strong guy. His name was Charles Atlas. I don't know, he probably died in the 50s. But Charles Atlas, there was some cartoons and stories on the back of cereal boxes. And no matter how many times we read them, every morning when we ate our cereal, we read that on the box. Didn't anybody get your education that way? No, I don't mean your education. Anybody ever read the back of the cereal box, you know, when you're eating, you know? Okay. So I'm not crazy. Well, in this Charles, and sometimes it was in the back of comic books. We called them funny books. In the back of comic books. In the back of comic books was this ad to order the Charles Atlas program. And you had this picture of him. Oh my goodness. If you order this, you'll look like this. And in this thing, he was at the beach. And there was this real scrawny guy, looked about like I did. And this bully came by and kicked sand in the guy's face. But after he got the Charles Atlas program, he kicked sand in the bully's face. Now, in my dreams, I always kick sand in bullies' faces. It was some kind of deal that you use, resistance, and had this little thing, and because a buddy of mine got it, it never did anything for him. But how could you resist it when you're seeing it every day? That is one of those prevailing voices. I'm not telling you it's wrong. I'm just saying that's a little small scale to where we are today, bombarding our lives with just stuff that people throw at you all the time. And sometimes you can't seem to hear what's on the inside of you. You got to turn those voices off. I can't hear that anymore. I don't want to hear another opinion. I don't need that opinion. Because in our society today, everybody's got an opinion about everything. You ever have anybody in your family that you get something to eat or whatever, and you say, you just put these couple of cans in? Have you read what's on the cans? Yeah, it says tomato sauce. No, I'm talking about really what's in the can. Well, first of all, I don't have one thing, they disguise it with like 59-cent words that they have on there. It goes all the way around the can, has some of this in it. Okay, yeah, well, what is that? Can't tell you, but it's good. But you'll have somebody in your family on your job, and you're going to get that. Have you ever looked and see what that's in that water that you're getting? No, it says Ozarka. Check it out. I got a website for you. People have been dying drinking that. Really? Yeah. It's got all kinds of things in it. And if it doesn't have it in it, it's because they don't have it in it. Say it's not so. If it's absent, that's the problem. If it has it, that's the problem. You need the $2.35 water. You got to get the better water. This it's smart water. Which to me, it's bought by dummies. We're buying what you can turn on at your house. I've done it. I'm one of them. pH level. I walked in the other day. She said, get me some, her big water is Topo Chico. Anybody drink Topo Chico? Oh, yeah, come on. But Sister Macey drinks Topo Chico. Kanan can tell you how she says it when she orders it. Honey, get me some Topo Chico. So I went in, and I went in the store, kind of like across the street over there, and I was going to find some Topo Chico. The water in the cooler was from here to over here. There was every kind of water. Energy water. Ozarka. It was water from the Swiss Alps. It was water from everywhere. Some had pH. Some had PhD. It was very smart. And it just, what should I be drinking? What kind of stuff should I have? This is the thing that drives people away from hearing the real voice of the Lord. It becomes so overwhelming. I'll close with this. Let it be said of us, his voice prevailed. You know, when I think about Pilate, he was there as the judge, and Jesus was being judged by him, so to speak. But the truth was, Pilate was at the judgment seat to be judged by Jesus' life. At that moment, that just man who knew no sin, that had never sinned, was looking up at a man that was going to condemn him, and though Pilate didn't know it, he was getting judged at that moment. Are you going to listen to the voice inside, or are you going to listen to the prevailing voices? But he listened to it. He went along with them. Okay, well, they've said it enough times. I've seen this in my own life, but I've also seen it in our society. There's some people that feel like that if they say it enough times, it has to be true. They just say it and say it and say it and say it and say it, say it and say it. And then all of a sudden, not only do they try to get you to believe it, all of a sudden they believe it. They could pass a lie detector test. Because now they're convinced of it, they've said it so much. But just repeating it doesn't make it so. The perversion of the truth. This is why people no longer say, when I go to the Word of God, this is the truth of the Word of God, or this is the truth of the experience. They now have a word that they use regularly. It's my truth. Well, my truth is this. But the evidence, your truth is a lie. It's not true. Well, I know, but I'm saying it, and it's my truth. You can spiral straight down, hanging on to my truth, and never get the truth. Jesus said these words, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Sometimes we will yield as Pilate yielded to escape difficulty. We just don't want to have to deal with it. And those other voices prevail. Sometimes you just got to say this. Hey, I appreciate what you're saying. Somebody said this to me the other day. My wife will remember this incident. They were telling me about something that I need to do, something I need to take, something, whatever happened, whatever it was. And while they were telling me, I just got this look on my face like, I'm out of here. Just this blank look, which is not hard for me. And they said, you're not going to do this, are you? I said, no, but I'm listening. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm not saying, but I'm just not going to do it. Nobody wants to do that. I don't like to do that. Please, just tell me what you think is good. Get the water with the pH. Get this or get that. Tell me how wonderful it is. Tell me what all it's done, how you're smarter than anything. But, you just started taking that. You're drinking, I don't know, what is it? You're drinking grass juice or whatever it's called. And you grind that up and then you drink that and it's caused your mind to be sharper. And wonderful. You can even tell me about it. But don't bring me to test day where you say, now are you going to do it? Are you going to order it? No. Thank you, though. Appreciate your concern. But I tell you what, Mr. Ed would like some of the alfalfa juice. Stand with me. Y'all don't even know Mr. Ed. Some of you laughed, and thank you for doing that. My voice prevailed. How many of you knew Mr. Ed? Yes. What about Wilbur? Did he knew him. That's who Mr. Ed talked to, by the way. It's amazing to me how that really and truly something comes your way and you got to make a decision. And before you can really, really say, God, help me, you've asked the Lord all along your life, God, direct me, direct my steps, guide my pathway. And in that moment, you've got a decision to make. Before you have a chance to say, Lord, this is one of those times I need you to direct me, you get a feeling of what needs to be done. Stay with me on this. This will help you. I'm just telling you what happens with me. Should I go to the right or should I go to the left? And when I say right or left, they said you're going to have to either go right or go left. When I think about left, there's just something in me that's just like, and then, but I'm going to have to go right. It's like, I think that's it. Many times that gut feeling at that moment, that's the answer. But then sometimes we open the door to prevailing voices. They talk us out of it. They talk us out of the blessing. They talk us out of trusting God. They turn us in a total other direction. There's been times I've heard from heaven, and I'd get with somebody that had influence in my life and start talking just out of the blue. They just come up with a whole other deal, and I think, what am I supposed to listen to them? Because I respect them, I honor them. They're senior ministers to me, and but then I think, no, Lord, I heard what you said. You gave me that feeling. Let's make sure we listen for his voice. Thank you on this summertime Wednesday night. Midweek does matter. Hug somebody's neck. Tell them you're glad they're in the house of the Lord. Thank you for listening. Thank you, guys. Thank you, whoever has that one note.